What's going on, everybody? So in previous videos we've talked about what gear do you need for triathlon, and a little bit about some of the training that you can do for your first sprint distance triathlon. So in this video I want to talk about what to do the night before your race and the morning of your race, just to kind of get prepared and make sure you're all ready for the day ahead, because it's always going to be a little hectic in the morning and all that. So we just want to make sure that you are prepared. So the first thing you do is you're probably, depending on the race, most times you'll go to the night before or the day before maybe, or 2 days before, it depends. You'll go and get a race packet before the race. You'll go and get that. And what that race packet usually consists of is a swim cap. When you go out, they're gonna give you a colored swim cap. Depending on your age group, you might have a red one if you're a male between 18 and 45. You might have a purple one if you're a female between certain ages. So that's why I said in previous videos, you don't use your own swim cap. They'll actually give you that. So that'll be in your race bag. Another thing will be your race number, your bib. That's the one you're gonna put on your race belt. And then you're also gonna have maybe maybe a tech t-shirt that you can have for, not for racing, but just, they usually give you a t-shirt. But the other thing they'll give you that's really important is stickers for your bike and your helmet. So what that consists of is, well, not all races give you a sticker for your helmet, but some will give you a little small sticker that you put on the front of your helmet. If you have that, you definitely put it on. But most time what you'll definitely have is a sticker for your bike. And what that does is you put that sticker actually on your bike, essentially. I don't have a sticker for me or on me that they give out, but you basically just put it around your seat, the pole, essentially. And I'll try to demonstrate that and include the video in here so you can see that. But that's essentially what's going to consist of your race bag. You might get some advertisements and different things like that. But the night before the race is pretty important. What I do every night before the race is I prepare all my stuff that night. So I lay out everything that I'm going to need, that I'm going to put into my transition bag the night before. So I lay everything out and I just double check everything. I look at a checklist. I Google a checklist on the internet of race day triathlon stuff, just to make sure I always have everything. And I'll put a link in the description to some checklists that you can follow as well, just to make sure you're not missing anything. But this is really important, because this kind of sets you up for the next day. You lay everything out. You just double check everything. Make sure you have your watch. Make sure you have your your goggles, your shorts, your top, just everything like that. It's gonna make you have that. And then you don't have to worry about it in the morning, because the morning can be hectic, and you definitely don't want to be fumbling around in the morning, because most of the time you have to get up early, because you might have to leave your house at 4 o'clock in the morning or 5 o'clock in the morning, depends on how far the race is away from you, because they usually start at 7 in the morning. So that's just one less thing you don't want to have to worry about in the morning, is having all that laid out. And what I do is I always just lay it out at night, and I don't put it in my bag until the morning. Because what I do in the morning, I do a final run through of my gear to make sure I have everything. Because it can be easy to forget stuff, because there's a lot of stuff that you can, that's going on that for all three disciplines that you need. And you don't want to arrive to race day if you put in all this hard work and you forget something. That could be devastating. It happened to me one time, and I got lucked out, but it happened to me, I forgot my helmet. And I always arrive very early at the races. I'm usually one of the first people there, just because I like to be early for everything, just in case something does happen. And this was a great case that was. I got to the race, I parked, and I'm getting all my stuff together. I'm walking to a transition, and I realized I forgot my helmet, and it just so happened to be that there was a Walmart Supercenter open 24 hours a day at, this was 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning, and I was able to drive there, drive back, and make the race. But it was hectic. It was so, it was a lot of anxiety coming about. That's not what you want to have on race day. You want to be able to just do your race. Yeah, and if you didn't pick up your packet the night before, that's not that big of a deal. They usually always have a way to pick up your packet on race day. Because if you're coming from like an hour or two away, you might not want to have to drive all the way down there, and that's perfectly fine. You can do that. A lot of people do that. I do that all the time when I do races that are a couple hours away. So that's fine. So that's just one. You won't have your stickers for your bike, and you won't have your swim cap to go. But just make sure you get to the race early enough to get that to get checked in and all of that. So you're not, the more time you give yourself, the better. Like arriving early to the races, I think, is a good thing, because parking also is always limited at any triathlon you go to, no matter what. The parking is limited, and sometimes you got to park way far away, and walk half a mile with your bike and your gear and all that. So the earlier you get there, the better the better parking spot you're gonna get, and just one less thing to have to worry about. One thing to do is just make sure you eat a good breakfast. Don't do anything different the morning before, because so the morning before, don't eat something that you haven't ate before. You want to stick to what you've been eating previous weeks and months, because you don't want to have your body recognize something new, and then that give you stomach distress during the race. So if you've been eating oatmeal in the mornings, just stick to that. Just stick to your basic basic breakfast that you've already been doing, banana. But yeah, just eat something an hour or two before the race. Make sure you have time to let it digest and all that. But yeah, speaking of digestion, you're gonna be nervous if it's your first triathlon, and this might be weird to talk about, but you're gonna probably have to poop. I always try to poop before I leave my house, because I know it's gonna come on no matter what. And I try to, like, the day before and the day of the race, I try to determine, when's the last time I pooped, to know if I'm going to need to poop before I go on the race or before I need to leave. So, be aware of that it's very, very common for a lot of people to poop when they get to the race, and you could have lines at the toilet. So that's another reason to arrive early, because hopefully you'll be able to poop early too. So just keep that in mind, because you want to get that out of your system, and it'll be good. But if you can, try to poop the night before. If you can't do that, try to poop the morning before you even leave. And if not, try to do it before the race, while you're actually at the event, because that'll just one less thing. But it happens. A lot of people, there's always lines at the bathrooms for that. So do it. And if they have porta potties out there, feel free to use those, because the porta potties are usually brand new, or not brand new, but they're very clean at that point, because they're specifically for that race, so they're not that dirty. So don't be afraid to just go into the porta potties and do it, because they're pretty clean as well. Yeah, and then before you leave, just take all your gear that you've laid out the night before, put it in your bag. Put everything in your bag. My helmet, I usually just put right on top of my bike, because the helmet won't fit in the bag. So I just clip the helmet on the handlebars, so then I can't forget my helmet anymore. So as long as you've got your helmet on the handlebars, it's tough to forget your bike because it's so big, but you never know. But yeah, just in the morning, put all your gear there, and then you'll be good to go. Depending on how far the race is too, I've learned this. I started packing a little small cooler for when the race is done. Definitely, like, I've done races that are 3 or 4 hours away, so having some nice, like, maybe yogurt, bananas, or just protein, or depending on what it is, you might want to have some just nice cold drinks, water for the trip home. If you're not traveling too far, less than an hour, it's not that big of a deal. But it's definitely nice to have a little cooler with some stuff. But you may bring a little snacks too. The races I've been doing lately, this is during COVID, that's going on. It's basically, once you're done with your triathlon, you got to get out of there and go home. So there's not really like much food there either. They have like some small crackers and bananas, but that's about it. So I've been taking bananas and crackers from home with me, so I have stuff to eat on the ride home. But yeah, so that's the gist of getting ready the night before and the morning before. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button below, because there will be future videos on triathlon and all of that. And then the next video I'm going to do is what to expect during transition, how to set your transition up, and all that, how to go from swimming to bike, and then transition from the bike to the run. So you don't want to miss that. So make sure you do subscribe below. So this is typically how I'll lay out, my gear before race day. Just kind of lay it on the bench or on a table, and just kind of, double check everything, make sure I have everything. So let me just kind of go through this one by one a little bit. So I've got 2 water bottles here, and this is kind of assuming you're doing a sprint. Olympic, you might be slightly different, but I've got two bottles here for the bike. Typically just fill one of these. I fill one of these with water, and then another one with Gatorade. I usually I don't drink all of this, and it might be a little bit extra weight on the bike. But I just typically just do one full thing of water and one full thing of Gatorade, maybe a little less. That's that. And that'll be for your bike. And then I always bring a couple water bottles. When you're in before the race, you're gonna have time that you just have time to kill. You're gonna have plenty of time. There's gonna be a little bit of waiting around. So it's good to drink some water. So it's good to have that. But also what I do with the water is when you're coming off from the run or from the swim, when you get to transition, you might have a bunch of sand on your feet. So it's good to just have a little bit of water so you can just rinse off your feet with the sand a little bit before you put your bike or your run shoes on. That's that. Then I have my race belt, which at this point I would have my bib on there, that they give me. I would have it safety pinned on there, so I don't have to worry about it in the morning. And they'll provide you with safety pins at the race as well. Sunglasses. And here's some GU energy gels. I'll put a link to these in the bio, in the description as well. But for a sprint, it depends on what you like. I wouldn't, if you haven't used GUs before, don't use them on race day. You want to make sure you use the GU energy gels while you train, so you're not, again, shocking your body on something new on race day. But typically what I'll do is I'll take one before the swim, and then I'll take one during the bike for a sprint, towards the end of the bike. Or a little bit, probably, I got 10 to 15 minutes left on the bike. I'll do that. So it's up to you. But make sure you train taking those, and don't do them just right away or during the race, because also it might, some people, it upsets their stomachs, and you don't want to have an upset stomach while you're racing. I do take my own swim cap just in case. You never know if something breaks or something goes on. I always have a few in my bag no matter what. My goggles, I always have that. I actually have another pair that's darker because these are clear. There's also some that I've got that are more tinted lenses for the sun. It kind of depends on where the sun is for the race, depending on which ones I wear. I've got some Shamios butter. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it correctly, but it's kind of for chafing. The shorts you'll wear when you do your that you get the triathlon shorts, they're very tight, and you're gonna be wearing them for a little bit of a while, and they might cause chafing on your butt and stuff. So it's a good thing to have if you experience chafing, because when you get home and you take that shower, sometimes it will burn, and that shower can be worse than the triathlon itself. But here I've got my watch. I've got my running shoes here, and then a towel. Always bring a towel, because what you'll do is, in the next video, I'll kind of go over this more, but you're going to lay your towel down in transition to kind of keep your gear on. It's kind of give you like your own little space of what your gear goes on. And then I have my cycling shoes here. But again, if you don't have cycling shoes and you don't have the clipless pedals, so these are clipless pedals, or 4 clipless pedals. If you don't have those, just use your running shoes. Perfectly fine. The only thing I don't have out here is my shorts and my t-shirt, my shirt, my triathlon suit to wear. But assume that that's out here. And then for the bib, what I was talking about earlier, you're gonna get a sticker in your packet to put on your bike, and you can put that sticker right here where the seat is, or you can put it right here. It's kind of up to you. I think I've been putting it here. I think it kind of creates a little bit less drag than here, but I'm not really sure. Either or is fine, and both of those are legal. And the only thing I don't have that's here also is my helmet. So make sure you have that, and just put that attached to your bike before you go. And